Okay, welcome back to the Complete Idiot's Guide to Stationeers, where I once again lived up to my reputation as being the complete idiot. What I was trying to do at the end of the last episode was program this grow light, and the sharp-eyed amongst you may well have realised I did not connect the data port, and proceeded to spend a good 25 minutes futzing around trying to figure out what was going wrong and completely failing to look at the obvious. So there you go, another senior moment, or brain fart, or both. Anyway, so hopefully this episode will go a little smoother, or this attempt at recording it will go a little smoother, and we will get to see automation working this way. Now, just as a refresher, we have our daylight sensor up there, pointing upwards. Its orientation, north, south, east, west, doesn't matter, as long as it's pointing straight up, or facing straight up. And we got our grow light in here. So I am going to use the pinless method of doing it, just to show how versatile that can be. Now, in order to get it to work, I'm going to need the hash numbers for the grow light and the solar sensor. So let's grab this one first. You can copy it just by clicking on this number. It says copied to clipboard. Get rid of that. We'll go into edit. So we will define the light, and then Control V pastes in that hash number. We also need to define the sensor, and for that I will also need to go back into the Stationpedia, and we want the daylight sensor. And again, just click on the prefab hash number, it copies it to the clipboard for you. Come in here, Control V, pastes it in. So what this is doing is it's setting up two global not variables, but two global values. You don't actually have to use the define here, you could just use the hash number in the code, but this makes it a lot easier to read and to follow through. So we will start, and we will yield. And then this is where you'd normally begin by loading into R0 the value of something or other. In this case, because we're not using a pin, we have to read it via the batch method, and the command for that is LB for load batch. So it prompts you. We're going to load it into R0. The device hash in this case is going to be sensor. Now I could just put in that number, this 10746 whatever, but it's a lot easier to read it when you're going through the code later, saying, oh yes, I'm reading from the sensor here, rather than having to look it up. Logic type is going to be vertical, and because we're reading batch mode, or in a batch method, we need to specify what mode we're going to be doing it. By default, the program is going to access all sensors that it finds on the network. So, I mean, we only have one, so it doesn't really matter which of the options we choose, but as a general rule, I always go with average. So having read that, we're going to, this will give us the solar angle. We're going to see if it is less than a specified amount. So store less than, we can reuse R0, and we're going to see if R0 is less than a particular value. I'm going to give it a value of 100. And what this is going to do is it'll put a 1 in R0 if the old value of R0 is less than 100. So when you think about it, the solar sensor is facing upwards. 0 is, in that case, straight up. So when the sun comes up, when the sun is like directly underneath you, when it's midnight, the solar angle is going to be about 180 degrees, assuming the sun goes directly overhead. It doesn't here. But assuming in this particular case, as long as the angle of the sun is less than 100, that's just below the horizon, then this will return a 1 or a true. So we'll use that to set the value of the grow light, or in this case the grow lights. There could be multiple of them. This will control all grow lights on the same network. And again, because we're doing the pinless method, we need to use a batch command. The device hash in this case is going to be the light. Again, I could use that long number, but it's a lot easier just to say light. I want to turn it on, and I'm turning it on using whatever the value is of R0. Now, I could have used different values here, but to be honest, you may as well use the same one. And that's all we need to do. Jump to the start, confirm, export, turn it on, and we're in business. Of course, now the solar angle is such that we are going to have to wait a while for it to turn on. But we can find out what the solar angle is if we just add another line here. So once we've read the solar angle, we can store to the dB. dB is the housing itself. Setting R0. This will just display it for us. So click on export. Now when we put the pointer over here, it will actually show the state, or in this case, the solar angle. So when it reaches its lowest number or its highest number, then it's basically midnight. It won't be 180 degrees because we are in a weird latitude, and the sun doesn't go up very high. The highest it gets is, I don't know, maybe 35 degrees, something like that. So as the sun comes up, or as it gets just below the horizon, the grow light should come on. It should stay on through the day and go off just as the sun dips down. If you find that you have too much sunlight or too much grow light, and you need to scale it back because the plants need more dark time, then you would just modify the number here. So you would decrease this number to increase the amount of the higher this number is, the more the grow light will be on. So if you want to reduce the amount of grow light time, you would actually lower this number. But 100 is fairly good for most things. Okay, so that's that part done. And that is really all I wanted to cover in this one. It was just a quickie because I did make a major boo-boo with the way that I was explaining things, and then I capped it off by not having the grow light connected to the data port. So got some potato seeds, that's good. Let's harvest those 2 potatoes and we'll put them straight back because we're okay for food for the moment. I don't need to be cooking anything. Yeah, I'm not certain if the light is far enough over to catch this one. I think it is. I think the center point for the area that it covers is based either at this point here or at this point here. I'm not exactly certain, but these ones should get it. These end ones, I don't know. But we will see what we will see. Anyway, apologies for the inconvenience and the very rude way I ended the last episode. Hopefully this will help you understand a little bit about MIPS and the ways that it can be used. And join me in the next episode for some more shenanigans. Thanks for watching. Bear54 out.